Hello Year 2s and welcome to our English lesson on invitation writing. Before we start the lesson, you will need some paper and some pens, including colouring pens or pencils. So if you haven't got those, go and get them before we carry on. Okay, our first task today is to have a think about why we write invitations. Pause here to have a think. That's right. We write invitations to invite people to different occasions and events. And recently, haven't been able to have many of those, but hopefully we'll be able to have them again soon. And in the book, The Wind in the Willows, Toad throws a party at the end of the book. So he might need an invitation for a banquet at Toad Hall. Now, you can either write one for Toad Hall, or you might decide to write one for yourself where you could invite someone to something very soon. So to begin, let's have a look at some different invitations. These invitations that I'm going to show you are also linked on our PDF, and you'll be able to use them to think about the features of invitations to write a success criteria. So that's what we need to write a good invitation. Let's have a look. We've got a first one here. What's the occasion? That's right, this one's for a birthday party. And have a look really carefully. Think about the things you can see. I want you to think about what might be the same and what might be different in all the invitations that I'm about to show you. Here's another invitation. What's the same? What's different? What's included in this invitation? Is there any different information? Here's another one. What do you think this invitation could be for? So there's all the invitations. Now I want you to pause the video and have a think about what we need to include in an invitation for it to be a successful invitation. Pause here. Here's our success criteria. We need to write who to, who from, where, when, have a dress code, reply time, what the occasion is, and we need to remember our punctuation, capital letters, full stops, finger spaces, and of course don't forget neat handwriting. Now we're ready to write our invitations. I'm going to pretend to be Mr. Toad, and I'm going to write my invitation as if it was the end of the story when he invites everyone to his supper party for getting Toad Hall back from the Weasels and the Stoats. You might decide to be Mr. Toad and write an invitation for his party at the end of the story, or you could write your own invitation for an event or occasion that you might have coming up soon. So let's get started. I've got my success criteria that I'm going to keep in front of me so I remember to use all these points in my invitation. I'm going to do mine portrait, which means I've got my piece of paper up. You might want to do yours landscape. It's entirely up to you. I've got different colour pens because I'm going to make it exciting and colourful because invitations normally are. So I'm going to start with saying what my invitation is for. So this is my occasion, and it will also be who it's from because I'm going to write this as a sentence. So I'm going to have Toad invites you to a grand party full of tasty food and garden games. So this is my occasion. I'm telling the reader of my invitation what it's about. And because it says Toad invites, I've also said who the invitation is from. So now I need to make sure that I write where this party is going to be. I need the address. So I'm going to get another colour now, and I'm going to do at and you can write this however you want because it's your invitation, at Toad Hall on Countryside Lane, and now I need to make sure I've got a date because my guests need to know when they're going to be coming to this grand party. So I'm going to write my date nice and big. It's going to be on Friday, the 2nd of April 2021. Now I can't just have the day it is, I also need to have a time. I'm going to say that it's from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. so my guests know when to arrive and when to leave. Now, a lot of parties have a dress code, especially if it's fancy dress. So I might want to let my guests know what they can wear. Just going to make some more room so you can definitely see my invitation. Okay, so I'm going to write dress code. Wear your best clothes full of sparkles, ready for lots of dancing. My guests know they're going to be dancing and playing garden games now. I also need to let my guest know when to reply by, so I know how many guests are going to be coming to my party. So reply to Toad by the 6th of March. And then I can put a telephone number. I can put an email address if I wanted to. And I could fill those in and then my guest would know when to respond by. So let's have a look at the success criteria and see if we've got everything. Do we know who the invitation is to? Well, I haven't written who to yet, so at the top I'm going to I'm going to write to, and I'm going to put some dots, so each time I write it I can then write who it's to. So this one could be for Mole, to Mole. Do we know who the invitation's from? Yes, we do, because it's got Toad invites. Do we know where? We do, it's at Toad Hall. Do we know when and the time? We've got this here. We have a dress code. We know who to reply to. We've got the occasion. We know it's going to be a grand party full of tasty food and garden games. I've made sure that I've got capital letters and full stops where I've written full sentences. I've got neat handwriting. So the last thing I need to do is decorate. So because it's a party, I'm going to have some balloons. I might draw some confetti around in different colours. It's entirely up to you how you decorate your invitation. Enjoy Year 2s and I'll speak to you all again soon.